Welcome back, dear friends, to the Crimson Academy's reading of the Advent of Divine Justice. In this section, we're covering paragraphs 108 through 115. Dearly beloved friends, I can do no better, eager as I am to extend to every one of you any assistance in my power that may enable you to discharge more effectively your divinely appointed, continually multiplying duties, than to direct your special attention at this decisive hour to these immortal passages gleaned in part from the great mass of Baha'u'llah's unpublished and untranslated writings, whether in his revelation of the station and functions of his loved ones, or his eulogies of the greatness of his cause, or his emphasis on the paramount importance of teaching, or the dangers which he foreshadows, the counsels he imparts, the warnings he utters, the vistas he discloses, and the assurances and promises he gives. These dynamic and typical examples of Baha'u'llah's sublime utterance, each having a direct bearing on the tasks which actually face or lie ahead of the American Baha'i community, cannot fail to produce on the minds and hearts of any one of its members who approaches them with befitting humility and detachment such powerful reactions as to illuminate his entire being and intensify tremendously his daily exertions. O friends, be not careless of the virtues with which ye have been endowed, neither be neglectful of your high destiny. Ye are the stars of the heaven of understanding, the breeze that stirreth at the break of day, the soft flowing waters upon which must depend the very life of all men, the letters inscribed upon his sacred scroll. O people of Baha, ye are the breezes of spring that are wafted over the world. Through you we have adorned the world of being with the ornament of the knowledge of the Most Merciful. Through you the countenance of the world hath been wreathed in smiles, and the brightness of his light shone forth. Cling ye to the cord of steadfastness, in such wise that all vain imaginings may utterly vanish. Speed ye forth from the horizon of power in the name of your Lord, the unconstrained, and announce unto his servants with wisdom and eloquence the tidings of this cause, whose splendor hath been shed upon the world of being. Beware lest anything withhold you from observing the things prescribed unto you by the pen of glory, as it moved over his tablet with sovereign majesty and might. Great is the blessedness of him that hath hearkened to its shrill voice, as it was raised through the power of truth, before all who are in heaven and all who are on earth. O people of Baha, the river that is life indeed hath flowed for your sakes. Quaff ye in my name, despite them that have disbelieved in God, the Lord of revelation. We have made you to be the hands of our cause. Render ye victorious this wronged one, who hath been sore tried in the hands of the workers of iniquity. He verily will aid every one that aideth him, and will remember every one that remembereth him. To this beareth witness this tablet that hath shed the splendor of the loving kindness of your Lord, the all-glorious, the all-compelling. Blessed are the people of Baha. God beareth me witness. They are the solace of the eye of creation. Through them the universes have been adorned, and the preserved tablet embellished. They are the ones who have sailed on the ark of complete independence, with their faces set towards the dayspring of beauty. How great is their blessedness, that they have attained unto what their Lord, the Omniscient, the All-Wise, hath willed. Through their light the heavens have been adorned, and the faces of those that have drawn nigh unto him made to shine. By the sorrows which afflict the beauty of the All-Glorious, such is the station ordained for the true believer, that if to an extent smaller than a needle's eye, the glory of that station were to be unveiled to mankind, every beholder would be consumed away in his longing to attain to it. For this reason it hath been decreed that in this earthly life the full measure of the glory of his own station should remain concealed from the eyes of such a believer. If the veil be lifted, and the full glory of the station of those who have turned wholly towards God, and in their love for him renounce the world, be made manifest, the entire creation would be dumbfounded. Verily I say, no one hath apprehended the root of this cause. It is incumbent upon everyone in this day to perceive with the eye of God, and to hearken with his ear. Whoso beholdeth me with an eye besides mine own will never be able to know me. None among the manifestations of old, except to a prescribed degree, hath ever completely apprehended the nature of this revelation. I testify before God to the greatness, the inconceivable greatness of this revelation. Again and again have we, in most of our tablets, borne witness to this truth, that mankind may be roused from its heedlessness. How great is the cause, how staggering the weight of its message! In this most mighty revelation, all the dispensations of the past have attained their highest, their final consummation. That which hath been made manifest in this preeminent, this most exalted revelation, stands unparalleled in the annals of the past, nor will future ages witness its like. The purpose underlying all creation is the revelation of this most sublime, this most holy day, the day known as the Day of God in his books and scriptures, the day which all the prophets and the chosen ones and the holy ones have wished to witness. The highest essence and most perfect expression of whatsoever the peoples of old have either said or written hath, through this most potent revelation, been sent down from the heaven of the will of the all-possessing, the ever-abiding God. This is the day in which God's most excellent favors have been poured out upon men, the day in which his most mighty grace hath been infused into all created things. This is the day whereon the ocean of God's mercy hath been manifested unto men, the day in which the day star of his loving kindness hath shed its radiance upon them, the day in which the clouds of his bountiful favor have overshadowed the whole of mankind. By the righteousness of mine own self, great, immeasurably great is this cause. Mighty, inconceivably mighty is this day. Every prophet hath announced the coming of this day, and every messenger hath groaned in his yearning for this revelation, a revelation which, no sooner had it been revealed than all created things cried out, saying, "The earth is God's, the most exalted, the most great." The day of the promise is come, and he who is the promised one loudly proclaimeth before all who are in heaven and all who are on earth. Verily, there is none other God but he, the help in peril, the self-subsisting. I swear by God, that which had been enshrined from eternity in the knowledge of God, the knower of the seen and unseen, is revealed. Happy is the eye that seeth, and the face that turneth towards the countenance of God, the Lord of all being. Great indeed is this day. The allusions made to it in all the sacred scriptures as the day of God attest its greatness. The soul of every prophet of God, of every divine messenger, hath thirsted for this wondrous day. All the diverse kindreds of the earth have likewise yearned to attain it. This day a door is open wider than both heaven and earth. The eye of the mercy of him who is the desire of the worlds is turned towards all men. An act, however infinitesimal, is, when viewed in the mirror of the knowledge of God, mightier than a mountain. Every drop preferred in his path is as the sea in that mirror. For this is the day which the one true God, glorified be he, hath announced in all his books, unto his prophets and his messengers. This is a revelation under which, if a man shed for its sake one drop of blood, myriads of oceans will be his recompense. A fleeting moment in this day excelleth centuries of a bygone age. Neither sun nor moon hath witnessed a day such as this day. This is the day whereon this unseen world crieth out, Great is thy blessedness, O earth, for thou hast been made the footstool of thy God, and been chosen as the seat of his mighty throne. The world of being shineth in this day with the resplendency of this divine revelation. All created things extol its saving grace and sing its praises. The universe is wrapped in an ecstasy of joy and gladness. The scriptures of past dispensations celebrate the great jubilee that must needs greet this most great day of God. Well is it with him that hath lived to see this day, and hath recognized its station. This day a different sun hath arisen, and a different heaven hath been adorned with its stars and its planets. The world is another world, and the cause another cause. This is the day which past ages and centuries can never rival. Know this, and be not of the ignorant. This is the day whereon human ears have been privileged to hear what he who conversed with God heard upon Sinai, what he who is the friend of God heard when lifted up towards him, what he who is the Spirit of God heard as he ascended unto him, the help in peril, the self-subsisting. This day is God's day, and this cause his cause. Happy is he who hath renounced this world, and clung to him who is the dayspring of God's revelation. This is the King of days, the day that hath seen the coming of the best beloved, he who through all eternity hath been acclaimed the desire of the world. This is the chief of all days, and the King thereof. Great is the blessedness of him who hath attained through the sweet savour of these days unto everlasting life, and who with the most great steadfastness hath arisen to aid the cause of him who is the King of names. Such a man is as the eye to the body of mankind. Peerless is this day, for it is as the eye to past ages and centuries, and as a light unto the darkness of the times. This day is different from other days, and this cause different from other causes. Entreat ye the one true God, that he may deprive not the eyes of men from beholding his signs, nor their ears from hearkening unto the shrill voice of the pen of glory. These days are God's days, a moment of which ages and centuries can never rival. An atom in these days is as the sun, a drop as the ocean, one single breath exhaled in the love of God and for his service is written down by the pen of glory as a princely deed. Were the virtues of this day to be recounted, all would be thunderstruck except those whom thy Lord hath exempted. By the righteousness of God, these are the days in which God hath proved the hearts of the entire company of his messengers and prophets, and beyond them those that stand guard over his sacred and inviolable sanctuary, the inmates of the celestial pavilion and dwellers of the tabernacle of glory. Should the greatness of this day be revealed in its fullness, every man would forsake a myriad lives in his longing to partake, though it be for one moment, of its great glory. How much more this world and its corruptible treasures. God, the true one, is my witness. This is the day whereon it is incumbent upon every one that seeth to behold, and every ear that hearkeneth to hear, and every heart that understandeth to perceive, and every tongue that speaketh to proclaim unto all who are in heaven and on earth this holy, this exalted, and all highest name. Say, O men, this is a matchless day. Matchless must likewise be the tongue that celebrateth the praise of the desire of all nations, and matchless the deed that aspireth to be acceptable in his sight. The whole human race hath longed for this day, that perchance it may fulfill that which well beseemeth its station and is worthy of its destiny. Through the movement of our pen of glory, we have, at the bidding of the omnipotent ordainer, breathed a new life into every human frame, and instilled into every word a fresh potency. All created things proclaim the evidences of this worldwide regeneration. O people, I swear by the one true God, this is the ocean out of which all seas have proceeded, and with which every one of them will ultimately be united. From him all the sons have been generated, and unto him they will all return. Through his potency the trees of divine revelation have yielded their fruits, every one of which hath been sent down in the form of a prophet, bearing a message to God's creatures in each of the worlds, whose number God alone in his all-encompassing knowledge can reckon. This he hath accomplished through the agency of but one letter of his word, revealed by his pen, a pen moved by his directing finger, his finger itself sustained by the power of God's truth. By the righteousness of the one true God, if one speck of a jewel be lost and buried beneath a mountain of stones, and lie hidden beyond the seven seas, the hand of omnipotence would assuredly reveal it in this day, pure and cleansed from dross. Every single letter proceeding from our mouth is endowed with such regenerative power as to enable it to bring into existence a new creation, a creation the magnitude of which is inscrutable to all save God. He verily hath knowledge of all things. It is in our power, should we wish it, to enable a speck of floating dust to generate in less than the twinkling of an eye sons of infinite, of unimaginable splendor, to cause a dewdrop to develop into vast and numberless oceans, to infuse into every letter such a force as to empower it to unfold all the knowledge of past and future ages. We are possessed of such power which, if brought to light, will transmute the most deadly of poisons into a panacea of unfailing efficacy. The days are approaching their end, and yet the peoples of the earth are seen sunk in grievous heedlessness and lost in manifest error. Great, great is the cause. The hour is approaching when the most great convulsion will have appeared. I swear by him who is the truth, it shall cause separation to afflict everyone, even those who circle around me. Say, O concourse of the heedless, I swear by God, the promised day is come, the day when tormenting trials will have surged above your heads and beneath your feet, saying, Taste ye what your hands have wrought. The time for the destruction of the world and its people hath arrived. He who is the pre-existent is come, that he may bestow everlasting life, and grant eternal preservation, and confer that which is conducive to true living. The day is approaching when its flame will devour the cities, when the tongue of grandeur will proclaim, "The kingdom is God's, the Almighty, the All-Praised." O ye that are bereft of understanding, a severe trial pursueth you, and will suddenly overtake you. Bestir yourselves, that haply it may pass and inflict no harm upon you. O ye peoples of the world, know verily that an unforeseen calamity is following you, and that grievous retribution awaiteth you. Think not the deeds ye have committed have been blotted from my sight, O heedless ones. Though the wonders of my mercy hath encompassed all created things, both visible and invisible, and though the revelations of my grace and bounty have permeated every atom of the universe, yet the rod with which I can chastise the wicked is grievous, and the fierceness of mine anger against them terrible. Grieve thou not over those that have busied themselves with the things of this world, and have forgotten the remembrance of God, the Most Great. By him who is the eternal truth, the day is approaching when the wrathful anger of the Almighty will have taken hold of them. He verily is the omnipotent, the all-subduing, the most powerful. He shall cleanse the earth from the defilement of their corruption, and shall give it for an heritage unto such of his servants as are nigh unto him. Soon will the cry, "Yea, yea, here am I, be heard from every land. For there hath never been, nor can there ever be, any other refuge to fly to for anyone. And when the appointed hour is come, there shall suddenly appear that which shall cause the limbs of mankind to quake. Then, and only then, will the divine standard be unfurled, and the nightingale of paradise warble its melody. In the beginning of every revelation, adversities have prevailed, which later on have been turned into great prosperity. Say, O people of God, beware lest the powers of the earth alarm you, or the might of the nations weaken you, or the tumult of the people of discord deter you, or the exponents of earthly glory sadden you. Be ye as a mountain in the cause of your Lord, the Almighty, the All-Glorious, the Unconstrained. Say, beware, O people of Baha, lest the strong ones of the earth rob you of your strength, or they who rule the world fill you with fear. Put your trust in God, and commit your affairs to his keeping. He verily will through the power of truth render you victorious, and he verily is powerful to do what he willeth, and in his grasp are the reins of omnipotent might. I swear by my life, nothing save that which profiteth them can befall my loved ones. To this testifieth the pen of God, the most powerful, the all-glorious, the best beloved. Let not the happenings of the world sadden you. I swear by God, the sea of joy yearneth to attain your presence, for every good thing hath been created for you, and will, according to the needs of the times, be revealed unto you. O my servants, sorrow not if in these days and on this earthly plane things contrary to your wishes have been ordained and manifested by God. For days of blissful joy, of heavenly delight, are assuredly in store for you. Worlds holy and spiritually glorious will be unveiled to your eyes. You are destined by him in this world and hereafter to partake of their benefits, to share in their joys, and to obtain a portion of their sustaining grace. To each and every one of them you will, no doubt, attain. This is the day in which to speak. It is incumbent upon the people of Baha to strive with the utmost patience and forbearance to guide the peoples of the world to the most great horizon. Everybody calleth aloud for a soul. Heavenly souls must needs quicken with the breath of the word of God, the dead bodies with a fresh spirit. Within every word a new spirit is hidden. Happy is the man that attaineth thereunto, and hath arisen to teach the cause of him who is the King of eternity. Say, O servants, the triumph of this cause hath depended and will continue to depend upon the appearance of holy souls, upon the showing forth of goodly deeds, and the revelation of words of consummate wisdom. Center your energies in the propagation of the faith of God. Whoso is worthy of so high a calling, let him arise and promote it. Whoso is unable, it is his duty to appoint him who will in his stead proclaim this revelation, whose power hath caused the foundations of the mightiest structures to quake, every mountain to be crushed into dust, and every soul to be dumbfounded. Let your principal concern be to rescue the fallen from the sloth of impending extinction, and to help him embrace the ancient faith of God. Your behavior towards your neighbor should be such as to manifest clearly the signs of the one true God, for ye are the first among men to be recreated by his Spirit, the first to adore and bow the knee before him, the first to circle round his throne of glory. O ye beloved of God, repose not yourselves on your couches, nay, bestir yourselves, as soon as ye recognize your Lord the Creator, and hear of the things which have befallen him, and hasten to his assistance. Unloose your tongues, and proclaim unceasingly his cause. This shall be better for you than all the treasures of the past and of the future, if ye be of them that comprehend this truth. I swear by him who is the truth, ere long will God adorn the beginning of the book of existence with the mention of his loved ones, who have suffered tribulation in his path, and journey through the countries in his name and for his praise. Whoso hath attained their presence will glory in their meeting, and all that dwell in every land will be illumined by their memory. Vie ye with each other in the service of God and of his cause. This is indeed what profiteth you in this world, and in that which is to come. Your Lord, the God of mercy, is the all-informed, the all-knowing. Grieve not at the things ye witness in this day. The day shall come whereon the tongues of the nations will proclaim, the earth is God's, the Almighty, the single, the incomparable, the all-knowing. Blessed is the spot, and the house, and the place, and the city, and the heart, and the mountain, and the refuge, and the cave, and the valley, and the land, and the sea, and the island, and the meadow where mention of God hath been made, and his praise glorified. The movement itself from place to place, when undertaken for the sake of God, hath always exerted and now exert its influence in the world. In the books of old, the station of them that have voyaged far and near in order to guide the servants of God hath been set forth and written down. I swear by God, so great are the things ordained for the steadfast, that were they so much as the eye of a needle, to be disclosed, all who are in heaven and on earth would be dumbfounded, except such as God, the Lord of all worlds, hath willed to exempt. I swear by God, that which hath been destined for him who aideth my cause excelleth the treasures of the earth. Whoso openeth his lips in this day and maketh mention of the name of his Lord, the hosts of divine inspiration shall descend upon him from the heaven of my name, the all-knowing, the all-wise. On him shall also descend the concourse on high, each bearing aloft a chalice of pure light. Thus hath it been foreordained in the realm of God's revelation, by the behest of him who is the all-glorious, the most powerful, by the righteousness of him who, in this day, crieth within the inmost heart of all created things, God, there is none other God besides me. If any man were to arise to defend in his writings the cause of God against its assailants, such a man, however inconsiderable his share, shall be so honored in the world to come that the concourse on high would envy his glory. No pen can depict the loftiness of his station, neither can any tongue describe its splendor. Please God, ye may all be strengthened to carry out that which is the will of God, and may be graciously assisted to appreciate the rank conferred upon such of his loved ones as have arisen to serve him and magnify his name. Upon them be the glory of God, the glory of all that is in the heavens and all that is on earth, and the glory of the inmates of the most exalted paradise, the heaven of heavens. O people of Baha, that there is none to rival you is a sign of mercy. Quaff ye of the cup of bounty, the wine of immortality, despite that have repudiated God, the Lord of names and maker of the heavens. I swear by the one true God, this is the day of those who have detached themselves from all but him, the day of those who have recognized his unity, the day whereon God createth with the hands of his power divine beings and imperishable essences, every one of whom will cast the world and all that is therein behind him, and will wax so steadfast in the cause of God that every wise and understanding heart will marvel. There lay concealed within the holy veil and prepared for the service of God a company of his chosen ones, who shall be manifested unto men, who shall aid his cause, who shall be afraid of no one, through the entire human race rise up and war against them. These are the ones who, before the gaze of the dwellers on earth and the denizens of heaven, shall arise and shouting aloud, acclaim the name of the Almighty and summon the children of men to the path of God, the all-glorious, the all-praised. The day is approaching when God will have, by an act of his will, raised up a race of men, the nature of which is inscrutable to all save God, the all-powerful, the self-subsisting. He will, ere long, out of the bosom of power, draw forth the hands of ascendancy and might, hands who will arise to win victory for this youth, and who will purge mankind from the defilement of the outcast and the ungodly. These hands will gird up their loins to champion the faith of God, and will, in my name, the self-subsistent, the mighty, subdue the peoples and kindreds of the earth. They will enter the cities and will inspire with fear the hearts of all their inhabitants. Such are the evidences of the might of God. How fearful, how vehement is his might.